Hey guys, welcome back to Everyday MMA with Coach Mike. I got my boy Garrett here, aka the Gare Bear.
Care Bear.
So Garrett, yeah, just go ahead and intro yourself. Tell them, a little bit about yourself.
My name's Garrett Gare Bear Boyer. I train over at Subfighter MMA. Been there about 2 years ish altogether, and work in the medical field. And I've been training mixed martial arts on and off since I was a kid, but consistently 2 years right now.
That's awesome. That 2 years is great. I mean, you had trained before Subfighter though, so you had like a little bit of experience here and there.
Yeah, I was over at Riverside MMA for about 2 years, and then it was kind of an amalgamation. Like I had Matt Curl and David Cryer were like my striking coaches, and they ran the gym, and then Sean Ruiz, who owns Carlson Gracie Riverside, that was like my main jiu-jitsu guy for a while. So that I was with them, and then I ended up moving out to Orange County. I actually I competed in one of Russ's tournaments. So when I moved out here, I saw the Subfighter banner, and I walked in thinking it was like, kind of the same thing, but I guess it wasn't. But happy I did, because.
So for reference, Russ and Adam ran Subfighter MMA together for a long time. Russ opened up his own school, and it was Subfighter like BJJ or something like that. And I think it's changed names now a couple of times, but he's fantastic jiu-jitsu, great facility. We're actually pretty close in the same city, so we definitely had that crossover a few times. Where like they're looking for Russ or like someone's looking for Adam, and they get mixed up. But it always works out, and people always kind of find where they need to be somehow.
Yeah, I'm happy I walked into Adam's.
That's
place.
awesome.
Yeah,
So what is your favorite part like about Subfighter? Why is that place? Is it different? Is it just like convenience, or what about Subfighter? Like, what do you like the most there?
It is convenient for me, travel-wise, like distance-wise, but the difference between Subfighter and like other gyms, I've been to a couple different MMA gyms, is it's very welcoming. But it's a hard gym at the same time. Like, what the big difference, what I tell people is like a lot of gyms that I've been to, like most of the guys have jobs that are training, or like the trainers, and walking into Subfighter, like that's what everyone did. You know what I mean? Like their career is mixed martial arts or MMA, competing to a degree. So that level was like different. I just noticed the difference. Whereas like I've been to other gyms where it's like, oh, like I'm a mechanic, but I like back in the day I competed Muay Thai when I was like 18 or something, and now I teach over here. Yada 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 yada. But the intensity's there, and it's just very welcoming, which is nice. Like I like that I can come in and be like relaxed, and it's not that like who's gonna murder me today kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, am I gonna get a concussion? Like, everyone's very chill and very relaxed, and nobody's a bully.
Yeah, no. The beauty with Subfighter, training under Adam, he was a 30 fight pro, and when I met him, he was kind of coming out, like he had a few more fights when I met him, and he was finishing up his career, but he was still training with us very hard. Yeah. And he told me in the beginning, he's like, Subfighter in particular, they didn't have a bunch of pros, so they grew the crop like a farmer would, right? They grew their pros, they grew their guys to make them available to train with. He's like, I needed sparring partners, so I had to make my own sparring partners, you know? And so that's kind of the same way that we run it now with the guys who want that, right? We don't force it on anybody, but if you want to get to that level, like we're trying to build you up so that we can also benefit from it. I'm gonna have the best training partners in the world if you guys know my stuff, and you just can shut it down, and I have to develop more. Yeah. So it's like a really cool, unique place in that sense that not everyone does that. Mm-hmm. Not everyone has the ability to make MMA a career. Mm-hmm. Adam did, had a long career. I've been able to, under his tutelage, and some of our other guys have as well. And the coaching, it speaks for itself. Like it's active coaching because I'm learning this stuff with you. Yeah. I've tested it a lot longer, but I'm constantly refining the same thing. So I appreciate you mentioning that, recognizing that. It's pretty cool to hear.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I've jumped around a few times, and I went to one gym, and they're like, "Oh, you're a big guy." Like my second day, they're like, "Hey, the pros are sparring at like 9 at night or something." It's when all the pros come in and spar. And like I was like, all right, like I was really green at striking at the time. Like I was mostly just jiu-jitsu. Like I had some boxing in high school that I did. And then so I spar this guy that has a fight. I think he's like 155. He's he was shorter. He wasn't like super tall on 155 like you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just, hey, let's go let you know on the competitive green. He's like, yeah. So I put the jab out, and as soon as I put the jab out, he comes overhand right and just destroys me, like almost knocked me out. Saw black. I almost fell down. I went back, and he's just pop, 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 pop. And it was just a grinder, man. It was a meat grinder.
Yeah.
And then, they had guys coming in and out all the time that weren't flagships of their gym, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And I got messed up a lot. And I was just like, this is like hot. I don't know who's coming in to like really just like be mean. You know what I mean? So going over to Subfighter, just having that like relaxed atmosphere, but like, and then we turn it up though. Like, it's not that like I haven't had like super hard rounds, but when I was newer, nobody was like, I'm gonna dust this guy. Like, you know what I mean? Nobody put it on me, or like maybe not, because stuff like that. Like, I have a thick head, so like me, who I am, I was just like, I'm gonna keep coming until I can punch this dude in the face as hard as I can. You know what I mean? That was my thing. I was like, this guy's beat the shit out of me. Like, I need to like keep coming back so that I can like starch him at least once, or like land some shots. But I like that we have a relaxed, environment over at Subfighter. It's really fun.
It's a small percentage of people who can do that, who have that stubbornness. And like, yeah, dude, gyms are kind of built, and there's a lot of guys like that.
Yeah.
But even with all those people, it's such a small percentage of the population that is willing to take that leap and like, okay, I'm gonna get beat up, I'm gonna keep showing up.
Yeah.
So that's a uniqueness. You're already like a not better or worse, but you're just different than already most people are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, the unfortunate part is not a lot of people are like that. So what happens a lot of times, as my phone's blowing up, so it does. What happens a lot of times is that people will have that experience once and then never come back.
Yeah.
So where you're like a unique cat who like is down with that and just decided to keep coming for it, a lot of people get turned off and never find the benefits that could be found in the training. And that's where, there's people who speak about it, but I don't think it's spoken about enough.
Yeah.
I don't think that change has happened enough. And I think Subfighters definitely made that adjustment over the years to be more welcoming to guys like, dude, you work a full-time gig, you show up, and you put your body through the ringer with us, sometimes with the pros. Like, you come into the pro practice and you give it, you give us good work. So, we now appreciate that, where it's like, this guy's a guy, he's already working full gig, he's got a full-time shift, overnight sometimes, and you still wake up and come in or just come straight from work.
Yeah.
Bro, you got to appreciate people like that, because without you, we don't have the bodies to be ready for those fights.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I know me being like a heavyweight too, it's beneficial for guys that aren't fighting, because I think I'm the only heavyweight at the gym, like true heavyweight. But I know like my body, for like Moses, like people fighting at 185, having like a heavy guy on him, laying on him, like just helps a lot. So I like being able to. I know that I can give, even though I'm not a high level striker, I know I can give you guys work that will help you benefit you for fight. And it builds that. That's the thing I like. That's why I tell people, like, I work in a hospital, so like I work with like doctors and like educated people, and all of them are like, "Why the fuck do you do this?" Like,
right.
I'm like, "Why are you competing? Like, you're older." And I was just like, I don't know. Like, I've always had that in me to want to do that or be competitive, and I just can't explain it, but it builds like a bond. You know what I mean? Like a brotherhood. Like me and Moses I feel like we got pretty close. Whereas like when he's got something going on or coming up, he's texting me in the morning like, "You coming in?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I want you to come in today. You know what I mean? And it's just a good community. Like, like Moses knows that I'm trying to, move forward with my competition, and he's like, "Hey, these guys are classic. We spar on Sundays. And it's like invite only. Like, do you want to do it?" And he got me into that. I'm on my second week with those guys, and there's like super high level strikers too. Like, stuff I've never seen.
Yeah.
So
it's great gym. Shout out to
Classic.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what the I'm like, what's going on? Like, they're really Tyler Smith is one of them. This guy Andre.
Yes.
Those dudes are really, super nice. But
Andre Walker.
Andre Walker, super nice dudes. But yeah, definitely making me step my game up. But it's just stuff like that. It's like it's build a bond. I got one of my coworkers into jiu-jitsu a year ago. He went over at Sean Carlson Gracie, Riverside. Shout out to Sean Ruiz. That guy's probably one of the only reasons why I'm still doing MMA or training right now. But he's been doing it for a year, and I tell people when they come and train, I was like, bro, like so many people will talk to me like, yeah, I want to do it. Like, I want to get into it. Like, I feel like I could fight. And then the people that actually will come and train with me or come do something, and then I see them keep going, like it's a different level of respect. Like, and I tell them, I was like, dude, like my respect for you and like our friendship is way higher. Like, I don't know what it is. It's just the fact that you're willing to like come and do this every day, because it's nothing but humble pie, especially when you start as like a grown man. Like if you start, you can do MMA at any age, but like when you're a grown man and you come into a gym and like guys that are 100 pounds lighter than you are just like making you look like a 12-year-old child,
right?
Like it's nothing but humble pie. So seeing my friends get into it and keep doing it, like I get a bigger level of respect. Like it shows character of that person.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want to be friends with you. Like,
yeah,
I want you to be closer to me because I know it seems like you're more reliable or loyal or dedicated.
I really think that it comes down to like the nature of human beings too, like the tribe, right?
Yeah.
The original tribe. Like you want warriors by your side. In the tribe, there's so many different roles, but there's definitely that role of the warrior and the protector. And you want people like that around you, especially if you are one of them, right? Warriors want other warriors around them.
Yeah.
So when you invite people out and then they're like, yeah, I really want to do it. And they say that you're excited. You're like, cool, come on, let's do this. And then they don't. Now, I want to create more warriors. Let me make that clear. But when you see that there's no follow through on it, like you instantly are kind of like, okay, you take a step back. When you see the follow through happen, you're like instantly step into that more. You lean into that. Okay, I can rely on this person now.
Yeah.
That tribe and that community is so strong at Subfighter MMA in particular. Man, I talk about giving the hard rounds and keeping yourself safe.
Yeah.
But dude, I would give my time, my whoopings. I give it to them because they give it back to me, and I know that if I'm going into battle, I want them by my side.
Yeah.
And so there is that like extra bond that's almost more instinctual than your normal everyday bond where you're like, hey, what's up? So and so or whatever. Yeah. It's like, now we've been through some stuff, we've trained through some stuff. I imagine it's like the military too. Like on a whole nother level, they're bonded through war. Now we're bonded through training, you know, and I'm never making that comparison in my life. There's so much respect for the military. There's nothing like that, but it's similar. Yeah. Because of the training.
Well, especially like you see people move towards like biker MCs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And what I tell people when I get close to people that like I train with, or like my coworker, everyone makes fun of us. Like they say we're like, you guys are tight at the hip at work.
Yeah.
There's no reason for you to come in and do what we're doing every day. You know what I mean? Like there's no like, okay, like if you're in a gang or if you're in the military, like you sign you're in there. There's nothing you can do. You can't get out. Like for everyday people, and I'm not trying to like knock a bond with military people. I'm just saying that there's no precursor. You know what I mean? Like if you join like an MC, it's like if I get out, like I'm in trouble. Right. You know what I mean? Like you can just never show up to the gym anymore, and we're not gonna hate you or anything like that. But like you're coming every day, and we're inflicting pain on each other, and like we're sore, and we're doing all this just for no reason other than like we like training and being around each other. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like there's no precursor. I don't need letters. I don't need anything behind me just wanting to be loyal and like have a brotherhood with you guys and have fun. And it's just, just a bond with all the people from the gym. Yeah,
that's makes you a strong member of the tribe. I mean, that's the truth, dude. Like, we see guys, I've seen guys in my, 12, 13 years of training come and go, and we were on the same path, and then the things change, and dude, I respect that. Yeah. Life changed. My life has changed now, where I was doing things like 3-4 fights a year. I'm doing like 1 or 2. Yeah. I got a family and a wife now. Things are changing. So when I come in there and give my time to you guys, it's almost more valuable. Like I'm almost giving you something like that's even more sacred now. Yeah. Whereas when I was like 19 and I had nothing going on, like it wasn't that was expected. It's still something that's commendable to like go and train and do stuff with a team. But you start to respect it more, like when you have a career, when you have things going on. If you're married, if you have kids, and then you come in, you're taking a whooping or you're giving a whooping, and because someone needs it, man, you got to respect that.
Yeah. It's that's another thing about like Subfighters. It's the first place where like we'll have like a hard session like on a Friday or something like that, and then Coach Adam we'll all sit down and we'll just talk about life. Mm-hmm. Like what's the future? Like I've never had that kind of like, you say like kumbaya, where like, you know what I mean? Like
the powwow.
Yeah. Like it's so philosophical. And I really appreciate that about Adam. Whereas like, you know, like that helps me out. Like we've done that a few times where like I was just like having like a shitty month or something. And I was just like, dude, like this is nice. Like we're all just talking about shit, getting everything out. You know what I mean? Especially after like being exhausted. I don't know. There's something in the brain, something about it that just really, it's that Zen, it's that martial arts aspect of it that I like really like about Subfighter. Is like we'll just sit there and talk. Like, what do you want? Like, not even just in fighting. Like, what's the goal? You know what I mean? And you know how Adam.
Yes.
You know yeah. It's like if you guys don't know Adam, he kind of lurks around the gym now. Like he walks like a T-Rex kind of, but he doesn't say much. Like when you first come in, he's like real quiet. So he's like, "What's up, bro? What's up, bro?" So like for him to like. First time I saw him like sit down and he starts like saying full sentences to me, I was like, "What's going on?" You know what I mean? And like now sometimes he'll be like, "Hey, good job, like good takedown." Like it's just those little crumbs of like affirmation from him, which is like so good. Like takes me miles. So yeah, hearing Adam talk is cool, and he's really smart and like he looks like such a hard guy, but then he's so like philosophical and nice, and you know, I mean, he has a lot of empathy, and he's a cool dude, man. I'm really happy to be under him.
Yeah,
he makes me think about stuff I didn't think of that.
Man, I've known him for over a decade, and the guy's constantly evolving.
Yeah,
quietly working constantly. I mean, regardless, take aside the gym where he shows up every single day and gives what he has to all of us, and then the competitions where he travels and goes for free, and it doesn't charge us a dime to go out there and corner us or whatever, or very little. If he does take money from the pros, it's very little.
Yeah,
I can tell you, I owe that man. You know, I owe him so much. He's given me not only the training, but a platform to start a career. You know, in his facility, he's given me the guidance to do it. He's given me the friendship and sometimes the tough love that I've needed, and growing as a person around someone like that, like you just get better by being around them. You know, you can really pick up some traits. And he and I could not be more different, probably in an interaction standpoint. Like you meet us, like we're very quiet. I'm more extrovert, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, I hear his words come out of my mouth all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? His lessons sink in deep, and then all of a sudden you're speaking. It's like the Tyler Durden moment in Fight Club where like, it's Tyler's words coming out of my mouth. It was like that for me, where I'm like, this Adam Lynn moment where he makes jokes that he said, like, if he had a superpower, he would be a virus, where he would just kind of like
infect everybody.
And it's hysterical, but it's also really true because everyone who meets him gets infected with this Adam Lynn, and all of a sudden, like, you just start to think about things differently, start to look at things differently, and you didn't even know what's happening until after you left for a while, and you're like, oh my God, that's because of that dude, you know? It's funny. He's the
No,
infection.
definitely, like, the past 2 years, I was, with my thought process, especially with, like, issues and problems in my life, like, outside of the gym, like, I was more volatile, and, like, since being around Adam, like, I go at things a little more zen. You know what I mean? I kind of roll with the punches a little bit more, which, like, I always did, but, you know, just, like, stuff outside of work and the gym has happened in the past 2 years, and, like, I'm more just, like whatever, bro. Because, you know, because I have him, like, definitely from just, like, talking and listening to him. Sitting down talking to that guy's great, dude. He's like Master Roshi.
And I think, I mean, it comes from his life. You know, he was in the military. He's been in MMA forever, and he's just the discipline that he brings around and the constant level he brings around. Like, he's never too high, he's never too low. He just kind of stays constant, and that's kind of his superpower. I think he would say that too. I think actually told me that, but he's really good at just staying level. And it's for guys like you and me who maybe go up and down a little bit more than that, where I'm like having really good days, real bad days.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you how many times I've cried in front of the guy in the gym. And he's just kind of like, yeah, you're good, bro. You know, it's kind of the same level. So it's like his consistency allows us to be a little bit wild, and he brings us back in with that. So that's really cool that it's done that for you too.
That's what I mean. That's the point. Is like, you know, like MMA gets this. What blows my mind is like even today it gets that like real macho kind of machista like alpha male kind of thing, which like for me I don't like. Like that, like I've been to gyms that are like that, and I was like, this isn't for me, bro. Like this is like too much ego. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that's just like totally neutralized with Adam. I like it, just the vibe in general. Like I like we're talking. How we feel, emotions. You know what I mean? Like that's I think to be like a real man, like you have to show compassion and empathy. Like it's not always just like protein and smash your enemies kind of thing. You know what I mean? To be like a complete man, like you have to have like that softer side, and like Adam has that. But then it's easy to flip the switch. It's like you're soft, and when you want to be like like after we're done sparring, like everyone's like, you good?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Chase never said a lot to me until recently. The past like 6 months. Chase is a pro fighter out of our gym who's just like the hardest working dude I've ever seen in my life, and he's man of little words. So, but like we'll spar, and like I'm sitting there and I'm like drenching sweat, and I'm just like exhausted, taking everything off, and he's just like, "Hey, you good?" I was like, "Yeah." Like, he's like, "No, like you good in life? Is everything good?" I was like, "Yeah." Like it's weird, man. It's good, but yeah, I like that. Bushido.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's beautiful. I think another thing that you touched on, with as regards to gyms in general, is you kind of need a strong leader.
Yeah.
We are not in the business of like calm people. People who come to our gym looking for a career, they typically come with a lot of baggage, and they come with a lot of emotion. So if you don't have that strong leader to temper the flames of those emotions, it can get kind of escalated quickly. I've been in the gyms where the coach was too lax or too strict and almost like created more friction.
Mm-hmm.
At Subfighter, it's almost like a pack of dogs in a sense, where you have the alpha, which is Adam, you have the hierarchy, but at the end of the day, if you and I were like getting into it, and all it would take is for Adam to say, "Hey," and it would be done.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing to have that kind of. I'm kind of like giving Adam a ton of props right now.
Yeah.
Fully deserved.
We do a full episode on it.
Yeah, we can do it. We can do we can do the whole podcast documentary on Adam. But that strong leadership that he presents creates a safe environment for us to practice these violent acts. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I think I've taken the least amount of damage being at Subfighter and like having such a high intensity of like how we train, which is nice because because I work on my feet. I'm walking around constantly, and I do go to work limping and stuff like that once in a while because stuff happens. But like as far as like having like actual injuries, it's nothing. I haven't had anything major. I did break my rib once, so that was fun.
Did you fracture it?
It was broken. Yeah. Oh. Shout out to Alex Sedkov. Sergikov? Sergikov.
Yeah.
Shout out to Alex Sergikov. Broke my rib. Great guy.
So
he really is. He's a great guy. He's really nice.
That's like it's the epitome of Subfighter right there. It's like this dude doesn't fight anymore. Had a very, very beautiful, like crazy, great career. He's fought tough dudes. And he's so experienced and seasoned, and he still shows up. He's got 2 kids. He's got his wife. He's got a job, but he still shows up to train because
he has to train.
He has to train. It makes him able to live the rest of his life, and I'm the same way.
That's where I'm at now, man. Like when stuff happens or like I'm not trained, like like I go a couple days, like in my head, like I have this guilt. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, dude, like everyone's mad. Like I have this guilt. Like I have to go train. I just recently got into a relationship, and like I told her, like, hey, I have to train.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I've been in a relationship. That was a reason. One of them was like with my last relationship I was in. She was just like, really? Like you're gonna go train? Like we got to do this. We got to do that. And I wasn't coming in. And so when I got into a new relationship, I was like, I'm gonna train. Like it is what it is. She lives kind of far. Like we kind of travel to meet each other. I was just like. So she'll stay at my house for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I'll go train, and I come back. Like, and I love her for it. Shout out to my girlfriend. She puts up with a lot of my BS. And she's like totally cool with it. But she likes that I train. Like she's like, I've never dated anybody that does what you do. And she's like, I see how committed you are, and she sees how we are with each other. She's like, I wouldn't want to take that away from you. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And my wife, very similar. She's been with me for 8 years now, over 8 years now, and since my second pro fight, she's been by my side.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was weird. She was the first one she went to. Obviously, we weren't together yet, but she came to see me, and the life that it leads, you need that supportive person around you because if you're doing it as a career, you really need it because it's a selfish sport in a sense where you're going to give a lot of your time up to this place and to this task. But it takes that like strong, supportive person in your life, woman, man, or whatever, to really like be able to make it work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she calls it my medicine. She'll ask me, so do you take your medication? Do you need to go take a dose? You gotta go, like I'm like, yeah, I do, because we got kids now, and I want to do as much as I can with them. But if I stay away from the gym for too long, I start to become a different person. I start to become anxious and kind of whatever. She'll sense that. She's
short
like, you
fuse.
need to go. Yeah. She's
Same.
like, you gotta go take your medicine.
Same, dude.
So it's cool that your girlfriend recognizes that too.
Yeah, she did right off the bat. She just thinks it's cool too. You know what I mean? She's just like, this is just cool. Like, I think it's cool. Like, she doesn't do it. Or, she's not into it.
Mm-hmm.
But she's just like, it's like, I understand how important. I can see how important it is to you. But yeah, like, how'd you do? Like, how'd you do having her be at your fight?
Oh,
like, how was it like mentally? Yeah. Like, how was that mentally?
Okay, so if you don't know me, I'm a performer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I like to be on stage. Yeah. I like to teach classes. I like people looking at me. I'm a narcissist. I don't know. That's probably not the right word, but like, I'm a performer, man. Like, I don't need too much.
Pleaser?
Yeah, I like to put on a show. So that was actually motivating for me to have her in there. I was like, okay, cool. I really want to I went crazy in that fight too. I looked sloppy as hell, but I was like throwing flying knees and trying to elbow the dude from on top, and I was trying to like head kick him, and my arms were all over the map. I was all the things I yelled at you guys about in class. Yeah. I was doing that. I was as wild as I could be. But I won, and I ended up knocking the guy out in like the third round. And when I say knocking him out, the referee stopped it because he's tough as nails. Took it right on the chin, just kind of wobbled, and the referee jumped in because it had been enough. But I did everything I could to like impress her. I'm like, yeah, I wanted to put on a show. And I think honestly, sorry, you made me think about something. But I think honestly, like that's how I got into the sport. I really wanted to put on the shows. I really wanted to be entertaining. I really wanted to do all that. Now I want to win. Yeah, I want to win too. There's like that fine line of walking. Like you can be crazy, and you also can put yourself in danger. You have to find that fine line of being entertaining and vicious, and that guy that you always dreamed about being, but also with tactfulness and intelligence. So it is a hard thing to put together, but that's where I'm at now.
Yeah. So I'm competing in that smoker on Saturday, and my girlfriend saw me compete in May. She saw me fight in May, and it didn't bother me at all. I was like, hey, just film it. Like I don't know. Like the guy I fought was like super big, super long, just like a
the Hercules looking.
Yeah, this guy was like, I'm about 6'3", maybe like 6'2" and some change. I'm about 250 pounds, and this guy was like 6'6", 6'7", and just like in shape, like the most in shape guy out of all the heavyweights that were there. And I was like, I know, like I saw him like at 9 a.m. after weigh-ins, and I was just like, I know I'm gonna fight that guy. Like my luck, I'm gonna fight that guy. But I am a little more nervous. I don't know why. I'm a little more nervous with this one, with her being there. And I think just seeing that guy and just being like, because I saw him and I was like instantly like, oh shit. Like I was a little scared, you know what I mean? Like he was so big. But I went out there and I got it done. It was a good fight. And I won.
I think honestly, there's always those emotions, and even when like I joke all the time that I've had my butt kicked on national TV. My mom watched in there. My wife there. My friends, everyone. So like, there's not a whole lot more that can embarrass me.
Yeah.
But
just getting knocked out in front of my girlfriend. That's it.
It sucks.
like I can lose, but like just getting starched. I'm just like,
you get over it.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. I totally get that. And like, you probably shouldn't get over it, but like, I definitely, you do. You guys
still love me.
Yeah, exactly. The mass majority of people who support me don't care about MMA. Yeah. They don't care if I win or lose. They're just kind of cool. They're like, hey, look, Mike's doing something for himself, and I really like that he's doing this. So I'm going to buy a ticket. I'm going to show up. I'm going to shout, whatever I can shout, because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But I'm going to say some stuff like "Go Mike" or whatever, very generic. Yeah. And I love them for that. I absolutely love them and appreciate that. And it's like you probably, you'd love your girlfriend for showing up for you. Like,
Yeah.
dude, that's all I can ask. It's like, just show up for, just show up. You don't have to know it, study it, learn it.
Yeah.
My wife, she's into it a little bit, like enough to watch them and talk about it.
Yeah.
But I don't expect her to know any of it if she doesn't want to, just the fact that she shows up and supports the training of it, the lifestyle of it. That's why I married her, man. I was with her for a few years before I proposed. And it was like we had been through a lot. Wins, losses, ups, downs, broke, money, whatever. We had been through all of it.
Yeah.
And so, like, she just kept showing up consistently in my life, being there for me consistently in my life, and vice versa. That was, had to be reciprocated. But that's all that really matters. They don't care.
Yeah.
Even the people that do care don't care. You know what I mean? No one gives a shit about our MMA careers.
Dude, just
for the most part.
Just today and yesterday, I got like 4 text messages of people like, "Hey, where's it at?" Like, I'm like, dude, it's in San Diego. Like, I don't expect anybody to like come and watch me fight.
Right.
And like, I got like 4 people that are like, "Hey, we're coming to San Diego." Like, you know what I mean? For a smoker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have some family that I don't really even like talk to, and they're just like, "Hey, we want to see you fight." And I was like, wait until I'm like in a cage or something. You know what I mean? Like, let's like, you don't need to come to the smoker. You know what I mean? Like, let me actually like take on an amateur fight, and then you guys can come and watch me. But yeah, it's cool, man. It brings a lot of stuff. Like, martial arts brings out a lot of stuff, and just makes life a lot better. Like, I'm happy that I dived into it because I was in the music scene, and then COVID happened, and my band, drama.
Mm-hmm.
But my band broke up, and I didn't have anything, and I was just like, man, like, and then I was gaining weight, you know what I mean, like just stress eating and working in the hospital. Those 2 years sucked. I worked at like 3 different hospitals, so I hate lifting weights. I like despise lift. Like, I can't do it anymore. Like, I grew up playing Texas football, so like I was lifting weights all through high school. That's all I ever did. I boxed freshman and sophomore year. I took a break. And then I got in trouble, had to go to a new school, and they didn't have a boxing program. So I was like, all right, I'll play football again. Mm-hmm. So I played football. And I was just like in shape. And car crash, sick, hurt my back, was out for a year and got super fat. Lost all the weight, and then got fat again. So when I came back to Subfighter, I was like, man, I just want to work out. And yeah, like, I'm not the skinniest. I'm not like, I don't have a 6-pack. I don't care about it, but like, I've never been in such good shape because of what I'm doing right now. Like, I know for a fact, like, if I get into an altercation, let's say, God forbid, I get into an altercation, like, no way no one's gonna last with me. You know what I mean? Like, a regular guy, like, whatever.
Yep.
Like, not even on like I'm the best fighter or anything like that, but just like defending myself or even like wrestling with somebody, like, I'm gonna last way longer than this guy. Like, I'm in the best shape I've been in, even when I was like 215 pounds and like had my flat stomach and my pecs. Like, I would beat the shit out of that guy. 32-year-old fat Garret would beat the shit out of ripped 20-year-old Garret. Like, super, you know what I mean? Like, outlast him in everything.
I love that.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Is people are like, oh, like, why are you only doing that? Like, why don't you like lift weights? Why don't you run? And I was like, it's just boring, dude. Like, I just get bored lifting weights, and I understand that. Like, I need to add it to my training, and it's just something that I haven't touched on mentally to like be strong enough to like go and do it. But my thought process is like, dude, if I'm gonna like work out and get tired every day, like, I'm gonna learn something that's gonna be like, you know what I mean? I have to learn something. Like, I know how to bench, I know how to curl, and I could get more into it, but it's just like, I just don't see the point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to be passionate, man. And like, I love passion. I can watch a documentary on knitting. If the person talking about it was like, yo, I love to knit. I need to knit. Knitting is my passion. Like, I will listen to this person talk for an hour or however long the documentary lasts. And when you find that and you lean into that, like you lean into the training, like, I get it, yeah. Weightlifting does not seem as appealing anymore.
Yeah.
It's like you almost have to marry the two where you're like, okay, I'm only weightlifting to get better at my passion. And that's probably the best route I've taken to do that when I'm more consistent. But it's like, I do these things like running sprints or lifting because it fuels my passion more, right?
Yeah.
And when you kind of get that, I think that might help. But regardless, I love that you found your passion. You found something that you will show up to consistently, because it doesn't really matter what you do. It really matters what you'll continually do, right? What are you really going to do consistently that's going to change your life? doing one thing for a month is not going to change your life.
Yeah.
You can get ripped again and be like, yeah, I hate weights. I'm done.
6 months later, I'm fat.
Yeah, it's
fat.
like, so it'll do nothing for you.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
You'll probably train for a long time. I'd imagine. It sounds like you're going to train forever, but like, for as long as you can.
Now I have that was the thing, was like when I was a kid, my mom dated this military guy, and then he ended up working for like ATF or DEA or something like that. But he was just like a hard dude, and he was like into MMA. And before it was like a thing, this was like 95, 96.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And like everyone, 90s, everyone was like wushu, and you know what I mean? Like, like MMA wasn't really a thing. And he was just like, his name was Deontay, and he was just a motherfucker, dude. Like jiu-jitsu, I'm sure he's a black belt. If he wasn't a black belt then, he's a black belt now for sure. Like he was showing me like ankle locks and stuff like that. Like he was showing me crazy stuff, and then he got me to a gym. And back then there wasn't a lot of gyms that taught BJJ, and it was El Paso, Texas, Ninjitsu Academy. But there was a guy that was from Brazil, I think. He taught Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for an hour, like 2 days out of the week there.
Nice.
So he's like, that's where you're going to go. So that's where I started. I did all the Jiu-Jitsu, like I learned how to throw shurikens and stuff like that, but then I'd go and do gi Jiu-Jitsu as a kid, and my mom did it with him. So my mom's the reason that like I kind of got brought into that world. And then boxing, dude. I loved boxing as a kid. I watched Tyson when I was a kid. So I've always been in and out, and that's like the hard thing is like now that I'm 32, I'm really into it. Like, dude, I should have stuck with this when I was 18. Because right out of high school, I started doing Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu again. And, like, I loved it, but, like, I just didn't have any support. Like, where I grew up, everyone's just like, dude, get a job. Go work construction. College? That's dumb. Don't go to college. Yeah. Like, make money. Yeah. Get married. Have kids. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was just, like, the environment. Like, all my friends are, like, divorced with, like, 6 kids. Right? You know what I mean? Because they all got married when they're 18 to their, like, high school sweetheart. Didn't grow at all. So I was always in and out. In and out, and I would, and I wouldn't, and then, I moved back out here by myself, and I was just, like, totally alone, and I was like, man, I just need to do it, you know what I mean? Yeah. And now I'm there, like, everyone asked, like, the guys at class were like, how old are you? I was like, 32, and they're like, you're trying to, like, compete, and I was like, yeah, dude, like, if I'm gonna, like, my thing is, like, if I'm gonna get my ass kicked by you, or, like, Moses, especially Moses, Chase, Blake, like, I might as well, like, try and, like, put that onto somebody else. You know what I mean? Right. Like, I want to compete. Like, I've always been a competitor, playing sports growing up. Like, I can't just train. At some point, I know I will, where I'm just training. Yeah. To exercise and to have fun and stuff like that. But, like, if I don't do this now, when I'm 40, I'm going to be like, dude, I should have fought. Like, I should have fought. I always wanted to be a fighter, and then just life happened. And, like, now I'm like, I got to try. Yeah, I think that the definition of fighting, too, it's, like, so different for everyone. And I think that we want to, like, maybe the casual fan might only know the UFC. Yeah. Only know, whatever they know. And so their measuring stick is just very simple, right? Yeah. You either in the UFC or you're not. Yeah. That's not really a fair measuring stick. And there's so many levels and depths to this sport that you can get a long way and get a lot out of it without ever touching the UFC, right? Yeah. A lot of guys don't. The mass majority don't. So if the only measuring stick is that, then you fail, like, that's going to be a bummer. But if you're competing for yourself because you have that drive, it's not like, I don't know, I never competed necessarily because I wanted to get somewhere. I competed because there was something inside me that needed to compete. I needed to do it for myself, for whatever the reasons might be, healthy or unhealthy. I needed it. It wasn't because you become a fighter because you don't necessarily do what everyone else is doing or listen to everyone. And I didn't. Growing up, I'm not condoning not listening. I'm just saying that I personally had a hard time with that. And that's what fighting gave me control. Yeah. Because it's funny enough, fighting gave me control by dismantling my belief that I had any. And I was like, okay, cool. I choose this because I know nothing about it. And they said humble pie. Yeah. So it took all my delusions about myself away, and I chose to continue going back because it was my choice. No one forced me. I didn't sign a contract. Adam didn't say you have to fight X amount of fights. Mm-hmm. He was just there with the opportunity
And sometimes the opportunity is all you need. I always think about this moment in a fight against Shohei Yamamoto. I was 3 rounds in, my knee was busted, and I wanted to sit down. And Adam said to me, he goes, "They're making their decision right now, and they haven't scored it all the way yet. So it might sway the judges, but here's the stool." And it's just that option to sit down. I was able to walk away from it and put my hands up and do my thing. And so, like, I know it's kind of a funny comparison, but it's having the option that lets you almost like you choose it for yourself. It gives you power. It does give you power. I chose this for myself. I chose martial arts for myself. Whatever it is.
Well, it's a hard road.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like with your chair, you're like, do I sit down because I just had a fucking war?
Right.
You know what I mean? And like you earned it.
Right.
You didn't earn it.
I wanted to. So,
but like, or am I gonna bite down and push through and hopefully sway the judges?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that's what sucks. I mean, that's what kind of sucks about MMA judging is like it could like. What was it? Robbie Lawler, dude. Robbie Lawler fought. I forgot who he was fighting, but I remember it was when he first kind of came back. I think it was when he won the belt, but he got the shit kicked. Like for me, like what I saw, I was like, dude, Robbie Lawler's got the fuck beat out of him for like 5 rounds.
Yeah.
And like the last minute of the 5th round, he just went berserk, ape shit, and it was just like screaming and punching and going crazy. He's bloody.
Yeah.
And then he won. I was like, how?
Yeah.
And it was that last minute, dude. That last minute, he just said, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to go out on my shield, and if I get knocked out, I get knocked out. Yeah, it's MMA judging's weird.
MMA judging is really weird, but that power and the choice is so apparent. You know what I mean?
Do I just keep getting, like, tagged in the face? Now, that's what he said. Like, do I just keep getting, outstruck, or, like, do I just go crazy and...
Yeah.
And he won.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
It is a beautiful thing, man.
It's definitely taking a hard road. You know what I mean? And that's what I try to do is, like today when I was over at Classic, one of the guys was like, "You done?" Like that. And I was like, no, one other one.
Yeah.
No, one other one. Like, I wait for people to be like, I wait for them to be like, all right, we're done. You know what I mean? Like, I try to,
Yeah.
And I try to, like, no. Like, this sucks. I'm tired. Everyone there's better than me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm, like, hurting right now. But, like, no, I'm going to.
Willpower is like a muscle, and you have to develop it. And, like, sometimes it is that. It's just like, oh, you want to go one more? Okay.
Yeah.
Just saying yes to something that you didn't want to do, like developing that perseverance, that willpower. It's a cool thing that it provides.
Moses is really good. The other day, we were sparring, and Moses is really good at, like, pulling that out of me. Because, like, I talk a lot when we spar sometimes. Like, depending on the person, I'll talk some shit. And Mo, like, ankle picked me and put me down, and he was, like, cross-facing me, and he's like, talk shit now. And I just, like, dude, it just fired me up, bro. Like, he's like, oh, you're not talking shit now, are you? And
yes.
I was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I was like, then I started saying a bunch of shit. I always say dumb. I always say something stupid. It's never like,
no.
It's always a goofy ass thing.
It's, you know what I mean? And depending on the person, like, Adam even actually encourages it. He'll even say it outright. He's like, you talk a little shit to each other, like, pull it out of each other. Because, there's times where you'll coast. And it's like, you don't, you might need me to say something stupid to you to, like, get it out of you, get that fire back, and then you tap into it a little bit deeper. So, yeah, I think, honestly, having a playful guy talking shit to you, like, I might hit you a little harder or whatever if you say this, whatever. Yeah. But it's good for us. It's good.
It's definitely good.
I don't know. The platform MMA, I think, like you said, it gets a bad rap. I think there's a lot of benefits to it. Even if you're going to compete at whatever level that might mean for you, whether it be point Muay Thai, amateur fights, pro MMA, pro kickboxing, whatever you're doing, you know what I mean? I think there's benefits to it. Even if it's just going in there and you have the option to stay home and sit on the couch and you choose to practice instead. Yeah. I think that develops willpower too.
Yeah, dude, I love video games, bro. That is my escape from life. It has been since I was a kid. I still do to this day. And it's like it sounds dumb and I'm old, but I'm just like same thing I told my girlfriend. I was like, listen, I train, I walk my dog, and I play video games. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I like to do. You know what I mean? Like, other than that, I'm going to get in trouble. Like, if I do anything else, I'm going to get in trouble. Yeah. Like, if you want me, like, you know what I mean? Like, and I told her, I was like, the good thing about it is, like, I'm not out at the clubs, I'm not getting drunk, I don't really drink ever. I don't do drugs and stuff. And I was just like, if I don't do this, like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Right. I was like, so it's probably not good. Because when I was younger, I was into all kinds of stupid stuff. I was very scrappy. That was my thing. Yeah. It was like, I don't really like drugs. I don't really like drinking, but like adrenaline's fun. You know what I mean? Like getting into shit with my friends.
Yep.
You know, and like starting like picking fights. And now like I don't know. I always had that like I don't want to pick a fight with like the little guy. Like I want the big. I want the alpha guy. You know what I mean? Like I want the cool guy. I want the big guy.
Yeah.
Like that was my thing. I was like I want the bully.
Yes.
I like picking on the bullies when I was in high school. When I was young. I was like yeah. Like
give me that guy.
yeah. Let's hurt each other.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally.
like your game.
You like the challenge.
Yeah, I like the challenge. Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. One final question for you here, and just more actually, just like what would you say to someone who's thinking about MMA who just hasn't pulled the trigger on trying it out yet, or has maybe had a bad experience and is nervous to get back in?
Oh, you just gotta do it, man. You just gotta, there's nothing wrong with shopping around. You know what I mean? Like, you might come into Subfighter and you're just like, you know what? I want something maybe a little bit different. I want more of like a traditional BJJ. You know what I mean? Because we're primarily an MMA gym, so we add and teach stuff a little bit differently. But just get out there and try it. You know what I mean? And just stay as consistent as you possibly can. Like you don't have to be there. And I think for like a lot of guys, and women too, is like they think like I have to be here every day and I have to train super hard and I have to do 3-a-days. Just pick a class. Pick which like you do striking, do striking, do jiu-jitsu. Which one did you like more? And then go with that. And then start mixing in, more classes and more time and just make friends and have a good time. There's nothing wrong with being new, man. Like I love it when a new person comes in, like we're sparring and they're nervous and I'm like, dude, it's good. Like you're new. It's cool. Like you can punch me. Like I'm not going to be mad. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So, that's just the goal. Just like the goals have to be small. It doesn't have to be like, I'm going to have a 6-pack. I'm going to get a black belt. I'm going to go to the gym 2 times this week, minimum. And that's it. And you just do it. And then it just snowballs into you going all the time.
Yeah. No, I love that. That's a great answer. I think that all or nothing mentality with training can really shoot people in the foot.
And it's never too late. We got guys, I mean, on the Thursday night Muay Thai classes, we have like a 55-year-old dude that's never done it. And he just came in and he's training. We're sparring. Yeah. And we're hitting each other. You know what I mean? Like, obviously we're not like killing each other, but like he's learning. Like, you're never too old, dude. No. Al Bundy's got a black belt.
That's the measuring stick. Al Bundy's got
a black belt.
Right on, Garrett. Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
I appreciate you, Mike. Thank you, Coach.
Stopping in.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
All right, thank you guys so much for listening. Obviously, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, all the YouTube stuff that you're supposed to do.
Can I get a plug?
Oh yeah, plug it up, dude.
Bear 13 TV on Twitch and every other social media. If you guys want to see me play video games, I'm actually kind of good at one of them and ranked top 500 in North America or all the Americas.
That's awesome.
So yeah, come watch me.
Right on. Go watch him play. I know it's a big thing now, which is kind of like I got into video games and it's very interesting to me. But yeah, dude, please check this guy out.
Cool.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Thanks, dude. It's fun.